MacVoices at CES 2025. MacVoices is at CES in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're at what3words once again. This is another one of our favorite stops. We have several here that we're doing today. This time we have a new friend, Jane Stephenson from what3words, is going to tell us about some of the new partnerships and everything else they're doing. Jane, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. So I'll let you run. First of all, we're standing in front of a partnership wall that represents a bit of an advance forward for you.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We've had a great year with our kind of OEM partners. So we've been really pleased to add some commercial vehicles to the list this year. So we're now working with Iveco Trucks, so big kind of truck and van manufacturer. And what you can do is essentially put what3words addresses directly into the navigation. So for someone like a lorry driver or a van driver doing deliveries, that makes it just so much easier to deliver precisely to where you want to go. And we're also working with Renault trucks, Mack trucks, and yeah, it's exciting to add to. I think we're on 20 now, 20 partners. So it's been a really fun year.
Do you feel like people are finally figuring out the advantages of what3words?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been really interesting. Just a lot of how we grow is kind of word of mouth and people kind of having that positive experience and then passing on to a friend. So we've really seen, particularly in the US this year, a real growth in kind of local communities, hiking, cycling, rock climbing, all that kind of stuff, but also drivers and people kind of getting out and about and using what3words to share precise locations. So yeah.
And as we've talked about before, you better explain what3words is, just for folks who might be new, because
yes.
I'm thinking about the hiking thing that really normal addresses or even GPS can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think about it, GPS coordinates have existed for a long time, but I don't know about you, Chuck, but I never send my friends 16 digits to meet me for a hike. So if they would get one wrong, it'd be
good point.
Pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So great for those that love to use them and great for computers, but not very good for humans. So what what3words has done is come up with a much simpler, much more human-friendly way to have that same precision, but with the ease of words. So we've put this grid over the whole planet, divided into 10 by 10 foot squares. Each one has a what3words address. So three-word combination that points to precisely that square, and that means that you or I could share just 3 words and meet at exactly the same place. So essentially we have a free app, we're integrated in lots of products and kind of tools that people use every day. And if you and I were to meet for a hike, maybe in the kind of Las Vegas hills, we could go, hey, meet me at Banana Table Spoon, and you'd put that in our app and we'd meet at precisely the same place.
And again, because you're quite literally off the beaten track in that situation, it makes it so much easier to meet at Banana Table Spoon as opposed to 16 digits and get one wrong and then end up in Nebraska.
Exactly, so. Yeah, like big kind of areas of landscape with no traditional addressing. I mean, we're in the Vegas Convention Center today, which has one street address for such an enormous building. So it's just that extra layer of precision that really helps you pinpoint exactly where you want to be.
So other than the partnerships, what else is going on?
So very excitingly, yesterday we announced Cygic app navigation. So this is an app that consumers can use that you could just type in your 3-word addresses and navigate precisely there. So that's been a really nice new one for us. We've also had a really good growth in emergency services. So particularly in the US, but globally, we've been growing in terms of public safety and kind of emergency response, so that if you were stuck in a situation and you needed to get help, you could just say 3 words and be rescued. We had quite an incredible rescue story in the US actually of someone who'd fallen down a manhole 40 foot and needed help, didn't know where they were, and used what3words and got rescued. So It's kind of incredible stories like that keep us going, really. Yeah. And
that's something we hope that we are helping spread the word just a little bit, because obviously emergency services has to use what3words, but people have to be aware of what3words.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's great to kind of tell a friend, it's a free app, so you can pop it on your phone. At best case, it keeps you safe. At worst case, you can use it in an emergency situation. But it's a great kind of fun way to just meet up with friends, give it a go, find out what your what3words are. It's a really engaging way to kind of meet up.
I like it. Yeah. What can I say? Folks, please pay attention to this. It's a free app. It doesn't cost you anything. And you can actually, what I think is really interesting is I have what3words for my front door. I have what3words for my back door. So, if I want to send somebody to the back door, I'm telling them where to go as opposed to just come to my address and then go around back. And that may sound like a small thing, and it probably is in the normal home. but in a convention center or in Vegas, it's a whole different animal.
Absolutely. And we've been a lot of what we've also grown in this year is delivery. So if you think of DHL, DPD, or your kind of retailers that you're ordering parcels from, in your instance, say you wanted that kind of delivery of garden furniture around the back, not around the front, you can be that precise with what3words. So it's great to see lots of retailers and e-commerce companies also adding it on that checkout page so that you could give them those precise 3 words.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're exactly right. If you wanted something delivered to a specific spot, you can literally tell them where it is.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do this every time. Every time we come up with an example, it's like, I didn't think about using it for that.
Yeah.
Of course, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we learn a lot from our users as well. Some of those examples that come up about how people use us, we had one the other day for magnet fishing. I don't know if you've ever come across that. But
magnet fishing?
Magnet fishing. People go into rivers with a magnet and then see what comes up, but they use it to meet, see where they're going. So it's amazing, all these kind of communities that use us in so many different ways. Like we love to see it. We learn so much from our users. Yeah, it's great.
After this, we will be Googling magnet fishing. I have no idea.
You go find your local magnet fishing club.
Jane, thank you so much. The website, one more time, is?
It's what3words.com, and we've got a free app, which is what3 words.
Great. Thank you.
So this is a demonstration of our new partner, Sidejic. So it's a navigation app. So we just open the app. So I'm just going to put in the 3-word address, limit, polar, judo, and you can see it's catching my typo. And that's the 3-word address precisely, and we get directions.
So as you were doing this, something else occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
You said about going to a parking space.
Mm-hmm.
In some of the massive parking spaces in coliseums and football stadiums, and even here in Vegas, if I get out of the car, I can identify exactly where my parking space is. I can share it with someone else, or it'll just help me get back to that particular space.
Exactly.
Especially here in Vegas, where they seem to intentionally disorient you.
Yes,
and then you spend time wandering around.
Yeah.
So that's a again, it's another one of those uses that with something that is this precise, that it can save you time, effort, and maybe even your safety.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I always forget where I park my car. And I think particularly when it's a big sea of vehicles like this or a huge venue, it's a really useful way to just go, I'll just say it's a word, and then someone else can find it, or we could all meet up at that space. I don't know if you've heard of Glastonbury Festival. That's a big music festival in the UK. So we get used a lot there because, it's a pop-up festival in a field. Ultimately, everyone's parking their cars in a field. And so lots of people are using it to kind of save where they parked or meet friends at the stage. And we actually had some stats around it, and 1 in 3 people who went to Glastonbury used our app to meet each other. So it's really amazing to kind of see that level of adoption for us.
I mean, that's impressive, especially at Glastonbury, because you're right, you're in a field.
It's like perfect use case for us.
Yeah, that's great. And again, this is what happens. We riff on ideas, but I'm sure at Glastonbury there are vendors and food. And they could identify, so you wouldn't have to wander around trying to find something.
Exactly.
You know exactly where it was.
Yeah. Or if you're trying to set up, if you're the business vendor trying to go, oh, I need to be set up at this exact spot, they can map it out, tell you exactly where those 3 words are. You put your food truck in the right place. Yeah.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Hey, thank you so much for the time. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Folks, more from CES in Las Vegas. This is MacVoices. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.